The truth about female friends. Hello everybody, and welcome to Male Wisdom. In this video, I'm going to talk about why you can't be friends with women. Many people might disagree with me on this topic, but after years of observation and experience, I've concluded that having female friends simply isn't worth your time. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. I just wanted to share some of what I've learned this year. I say this not to put free men down, but to humble ourselves so that we can learn from each other's mistakes and not make the same mistakes our ancestors made. I don't want humanity to keep repeating the same cycle unless we forget the past. Maybe we, as MGTOW men, have some white knight fumes in us from our last days. I say this because I cut up 80% of my female friends in the previous 3 years, but I still seem to have an attraction to some of them since we were friends in grade school. During the COVID epidemic, a female friend posted a video on Snapchat playing with her golden Komodo. I couldn't even finish watching it. I told her this was inappropriate, and she went nuts. The next day, she brought it up, saying it wasn't her but someone who hacked her phone, and she would never do that she's an average person. So I got furious that she was lying to my face. I told her to least change the colors on her nails so that her story is more believable. I smiled, then just laughed. Maybe this will help another man out there with female friends who will know that women will turn back to their nature from time to time. I realized that one so-called female friend was gaslighting me and using the story surrounding the possible denial that someone hacked into her phone and posted on her account. She made herself look like the victim and made me look like an eagle for bringing it up and criticizing her in the first place. All that from a so-called female friend. When it comes to female friendships, they intend to keep you around as friends if you entertain or educate them. Or they want to be with her, holding a wise and open communication until you're single because you make them single, or perhaps it's like the waiting you jingle because your pocket is full of cash. I've had so-called female friends who stopped talking to me years after they got into relationships. But even still, one of them didn't tell me she was married and blocked those pictures on Facebook, so I couldn't see them or even know she was still my friend. I'm not sure, but I suspect she did that just in case marriage didn't work out. I would never know, and then she could approach me again. As for the so-called white knight fumes, that's something I find is next to impossible to control. We are hardwired by nature to protect women. It's one of the main driving forces that lead to a species' survival. If we didn't have it, we would be nothing but monkeys still playing with their feces. As a species, we also have a hard time remembering the past because we seem to have a 4-generational cycle, and after that, once the people that remembered something have gone, we have to repeat it. It doesn't matter, we have history books. Unfortunately, it seems that unless experiences emotionally impact us, they don't stick with us. It can be passed well into the future after we're gone. Just like none of us today have any idea what this tradition was, it was really like. We think we know what it was like, but we don't. That's why it seems they were doomed to decline and repeat society's mistakes. Culture doesn't seem to progress linearly, but more in a circular one. These days, when I see my occasional Tinder matches that have exciting women, I am entirely indifferent. I'm turning into thought because I'm interested in the validation I receive if women still want me. But when I get that validation, I stop caring. I want to know that I still have it, whatever it is. To me, it's like without the woman you called out for airing her cooch on the internet. She probably can't hear you out for validation and attention. You were supposed to drool over what you couldn't have, and you were supposed to contact her, and she was supposed to get your attention. But you weren't supposed to bring up naughty bits. That was just the painting you were supposed to call around. That's why she got pissed off. But I'm glad she did, because it shows that at least some men out there are desperate enough to be willing to phone. No, they're flashing balls over the phone. It shows desperation on her part that she's not getting the attention she craves, so she's raising the stakes. She has no interest in having intercourse with anyone. She wants to dangle a steak in front of a bunch. They seem to taste and collect all the emotional tension she can format. The fact that she's not worried about being banned on Snapchat tells you what kind of power women have online these days. She thinks she can violate the terms of service with impunity. I would have made contact and reported what she did. laying down my very own snap trap so that the next time she logged in, she would be banned. It would be like sucking the oxygen out of the lungs. So she couldn't metaphorically breathe so that she would suffocate due to a lack of attention. Nothing says friendship like taking a woman's attention. It sounds to me like this woman enjoys having men in the friend zone so that she can get attention. I think there's a huge female population out there who are suffering during COVID because they are not getting the expected levels of attention and emotional pick-me-up that they used to. Most women go out on dating platforms like Tinder not to look for a boyfriend, but instead for that emotional pick-me-up. Like many of the so-called female friends a guy has, it is like keeping around because of that attention. Remember, the previous laws state that in the animal kingdom, there is no male and female relationship of any kind unless the woman can derive some benefit from it. Therefore, even being friend-zoned by her is beneficial to her. For women, attention is equivalent to intercourse for men. Considering that there is a virtually unlimited number of men out there, and they want to have intercourse with a woman, she has an almost endless pool, also called male friends, to draw attention from. I have specific female photography and video clients who call me up for work but spend more than half of our time together talking about their life on the film. Dave Corser is looking for another dynamic team pan friend because, for whatever reason, the other one is busy. I don't care because it gives me material for my channel, and I'm also getting paid. But if this were just a woman who was a friend who wanted to waste my time and share her toxic emotional waste all over me, I would ignore her if she wanted to talk. Of course, if I was still interested in dating as you seemed, I still talked to the super attractive women I was orbiting. That's just it. You're not friends with women, you're the orbiting bodies around them, and they are the sun. Friendship with women only works temporarily if some mutually beneficial circumstances surround them. If you get something for being in her friend zone, like advice about your life, that may make it work. It's not like a friendship with one of your bros. There is no bonding in the traditional sense. It's generally always transactional, or she wants to wait for you, hoping you notice, and then you get in her pants. If you don't make a move for a few weeks or a month, and she sees that you're not interested, suddenly she will disappear, and you will lose your so-called friend. I have to repeat that because men don't teach each other about this last generation to the next. It's like every man is learning about his previous for the first time in history. Women also obviously don't want to pass these lessons to one another. Knowledge about female nature's power and no knowledge means the man has no control, and that's what women want. They wanted to be powerless to their whims. I don't think that you can be friends with a woman. There's no such thing, and you are convinced it exists. Like many guys listening to this, they probably convince themselves that big unicorn women are out there, and she's waiting for you. I think that's all I got to say about that. I want to draw everyone's attention to a fake article description called "Woman on Tinder Faces Action Lawsuit After She Gave Crabs to 239 Different Men." It shows one of the most unattractive women sporting a fabulous FUPA with a queen-size muffin top. People writing this speech thought it would be impossible for something like this to happen. But I bet she anything that a woman like her, if she went out on Tinder, could at least sleep with 139 plus men. After all, some women have been photoshopped with pink noses covered in body hair, and men would still smash them and pay them cash. I bet some of the men also open up to being friends with her and her FUPA, but you call it you have a Quantel. She won't settle for anyone for marriage because he doesn't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. The guy reading a fake article where no attractive woman can sleep with hundreds of guys has conducted research. It's been known to happen all the time. Guys can afford to be picky with their pricks if they want to reproduce. The funniest line from the fake article was from one man that said that when he was leaving her bedroom after they had just had intercourse, another man came in, and they could see a lineup of men waiting to get inside the room. This woman is like a roller coaster ride because the ride is short, and there's a lineup of guys waiting behind to get on. Putting up a picture of an Indian guy in the article also lends us a certain level of believability to the story because of intercourse marketplace valley dynamics in desperation. I'm going to talk about the brutal truth of modern women. Many people might not want to hear it, but it's time we face the facts. I believe that feminism has failed women. In my previous video, I will explain why I think this movement has ultimately let us down and what we can do to change it. So sit down, click on it, and get ready to have your mind blown.